Gentlemen, happy Friday to you. I appreciate y'all being here. 203 sets of eyeballs, and the fucking intro's not even done. Thank you. One more again. It's your friend Hammerhand in the house, bringing some shit to you. And I want to talk to you about something that we've known about for a little bit now, almost as soon as it dropped. But I like to give people opportunities to hang themselves. Opportunities to do stupid shit and compound the stupid shit by doubling down on it. You will recall that not too long ago, a news article, a video article, was picked up on by a few folks that featured my face and 21 Studios at the head. Well, that wasn't global news. That was a video manipulation by a YouTuber. So while I was compiling evidence to send to global news and to send to an attorney, we discovered the fact that somebody had manipulated the video. So that information and that YouTuber's address has been, not their home address, of course, but that'll be part of it. But their YouTube address has been sent to YouTube with a formal complaint and to global news so that they can research the people that are manipulating their footage to make it seem a certain way. Now, what I've done is I've gone ahead and compiled this. I want to show you the global news and the manipulation side by side.
It's an innocent enough search term, self-esteem for guys. But type that into YouTube and within 4 clicks, when Global News tried, we were offered all kinds of posts promoting hate, including one video about embracing the idea of violence in a society that despises what it means to be a man.
It's very frightening how quickly a young man who might be lonely or might be troubled or might be seeking information can have disinformation and hateful ideology put in front of him.
Experts say it's a new trend. Communities targeting not just teenagers, but even boys online.
So you see it. There it is. That's just a small clip of the opening, which was pretty much used and picked up on by everybody in this community and quite a few others outside of the community. It was kind of stunning to me to see how fast it traveled. So we're going to discuss that today. And we're also going to discuss, excuse me, how you can deal with that. I'd like to welcome to the stream Success Pool Endeavors, Master Wrench.
Hammerhead, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
So you said backstage a few minutes ago that you'd like to bring up a couple of things and let's chat about it. But before we do that, I want to say dealing with manipulation of media is a tricky thing. We know, obviously, everybody kind of knows already that the media is not honest. They're not honest with you. They have an agenda to sell to you. They give you targets to like, to dislike, to destroy, to build up, to love, and to worship. And you have to be able to weed through all of that and still find out where the manipulation is coming from on the back side of it, or the front side as well. But that's what we got to deal with. And I find myself being involved in this, 21 Studios being involved in this. And it wasn't global news. It wasn't their parent company, Circus. It was a YouTuber that was manipulating footage, and they got busted. They got caught. So YouTube has been notified. Global News has been notified. So we'll see what comes of it. So what's up, homie?
Oh, not much. Just looking at that would explain why the vast majorities of the videos that were on that channel seem to have been removed.
Is that right?
Amazing.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I hadn't been back there. See, normally I don't deal with folks that deal with me or anyone else in this fashion. So I didn't know about the existence of this channel. I know that JD has been doing some shit with that particular channel, but I only caught that in the crosswinds. I didn't really, go in hard on that stuff. I don't waste my time on people that want me to justify my existence to them. So I don't mess with it.
Well, as far as that goes, I think that if you haven't subscribed to JD Miles, you probably need to, because he's out there and he's going after these trolls, these posers, and basically these are our biggest fans out there, and yeah, they have a lot of misinformation that they spread about us, and it's disgusting, to say the very
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, really, man, I don't know what is so troublesome about a bunch of fellas that just don't want to be used. I guess I can kind of understand it from the point of view of the people that want to do the using, but even then, I don't know that it justifies being called a domestic terrorist. That's
That's taking
beyond
it
the
a
pale.
lot too far.
Yeah, I think so. Tim Elgato in the chat. Am I blocked? No, I can see you just fine. So let me jump up in the chat here real quick, SCE, and then we'll start talking about some of that stuff that you want.
All right.
Tom Lightning, Hamster. I never got any notices of you or Hamster stream. Well, damn. Sorry about that, brother, but I can't control that shit. That's how it is, man. There's tens of thousands of people out there that don't know that they've been unsubbed from this channel. It just happens, and it's going to be that way because that's the way that YouTube does business. Johnny Midnight, with the amendment to the Smith-Moot Act, the media may now use propaganda against the U.S. citizen. Thank you very much, Barack Hussein Obama, because he's the one that repealed that. He's the one that made it legal, or not illegal, I guess I should say, for your news agencies not to propagandize the citizenry. Squirrel Slayer, this shit keeps getting more and more crazy. Yes, it does. Jerron Markel, what's the name of that YouTuber? I believe it is Claire Harris. That's the name on the YouTube channel, Claire Harris. And I don't advocate that anyone go to Claire Harris's channel to harass them, just so that you know who they are. I don't know if it's a man. I don't know if it's a woman. I don't know if it's an organization. I have no idea. Don't know. But I do know that that channel produced a video that was blatant and obvious mis- and disinformation, manipulation of a copyrighted trademarked property. It wasn't there for any other reason. So just to try to harm people, but that's okay. Rachel Alucard, love especially for waifus. Kind of love me some waifus. I just leave them on the shelf and they don't bother me. Angler MGTOW, Michael Guevara, brother. Chris Mitchell, brother Maxwell, One Fast Dak, SCE, Hemi, Hermit, Brandon, Johnny, Eric, Angler. Goddamn, the whole house is here. Whole house is here. That's all right. All right, man. What's up, SCE? What were we talking about backstage?
You got some heavy hitters in the chat.
Yeah, we got some hitters, man. And that's good. I like to see some folks in here. 295 strong.
Well, that's just it. Is that with everything that's happening as far as this Claire Harris opening up a can of worms, okay, we've got a couple of guys that, they do a little fact checking for us, and, they're going, now, what kind of retarded stuff is this? And it's like, man, I don't know. You just got to go to JD Miles' channel and just check all this out. And it's like, when we get back, it's like, yeah, that's just not right. And it's like, yeah, eventually I'm going to have to let Hammerhand know about all this. It's like, well, he probably pretty much knows already. And it's like, I pretty much guessed that was true. And sure enough, you already knew.
Yeah, we turned them out not too long ago on some more information. I don't know if that particular channel had anything to do with it, but it's I guess it shouldn't be stunning to me, but it is kind of stunning to me to see the dissociation that people have from now, just from person to person. It's like you can look at somebody now and say, yeah, I don't like being used, and I don't like being obligated to hold up your end of a 50-50 or 100-100 deal, because you know how these people are weird and they split hairs on shit. And that's your job now. You wanted all of this. You got all of this. Sayonara. See you later. Good luck. Good luck. But that's all that I can do for you now. My table is my table. I bring all of my shit to my table, and that's it. Men and women, in my opinion, in my estimation, as couples, it's a dying, fanciful thing. It is definitely working its way out of society.
Oh, then there are certain aspects of the government which aren't helping. I mean,
Well, they need you, right? They need you to be coupled up. They need you to be producing kids. I mean, look at the gigantic inflows of these people that they're basically kidnapping from other countries, or they create destabilization in their countries to drive them into white Western countries because the fucking white people aren't having babies. And they aren't having babies because they hate each other.
yeah, that's your replacement labor force. But then there's not only that, but then you've also got certain groups which are trafficking, and then you've got the Disney CEO. That's like, and that's that doesn't even include the minor attracted people. So yeah, there's a whole lot going on, and yet somehow or another we're the terrorists because we don't want to participate in the system of usury.
No,
No,
you can
right.
say it out loud, bro. Yeah, you're right about that, and you can say it out loud. Don't say maps, pedophile, because that's what they are. They're fucking pedos. They're kid fuckers, and they're trying to worm their way into the alphabet soup group. And sooner or later, somebody's going to open the door for them. In the chat section here, Mandalore the MGTOW, yo, my brothers, got a question for you. Is it just me, or is the church nowadays feminist and simp cuck haven? It's not just you. The church everywhere is totally cucked. Totally cucked. You do not need to go and worship at a house that will not have your back. You can worship at home. You can find somebody with a like mind and worship, or you can just, put Bible quotes out like I do from time to time. I try not to be overbearing with it. I do it every once in a while because I know people have a certain perception of that. But like I said, it's red pills galore.
Well, what a lot of people don't understand is that when we speak of the red pill, now the dark side of feminine nature, that's just one small aspect of the red pill. The red pill is opening your eyes up to the awareness that you have been sold a huge pack of lies, that everything that you have been taught is all wrong. It's not based in any type of reality. Everything that they have guided you towards is towards being a slave. Okay,
Agreed.
color doesn't matter. That's totally out of the window. Each and every one of us, we're all wage slaves in one way or another, and this is to help them to ease you into this whole system of usury, to where this way you feel like wanted and needed, and that they hopefully want you to advocate for your own usury. And it's like, now who in their right mind is going to sign off on that kind of deal? It's like they want you to get married. They're talking about that bachelor tax again, as if it already wasn't enough.
Yeah,
This,
I mean, they absolutely have to have men 100% buying into the idea that all of the shit, the bill of goods that they have sold you is real, that it's legit. You have to volunteer for your own destruction. You have to volunteer. You got to put it all on the line and feel good about it. And that's what's disappearing out of the West right now. The men are absolutely waking up to this shit. Did you notice how nobody has bought into this so-called war between Russia and the Ukraine?
well, if the mainstream media is for the Ukraine, then I believe that I'm going to be against it because I don't trust the mainstream media.
Well, look at all of the shit that the Bidens were doing in the Ukraine prior to his becoming a president.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
talk of that can get you a medical misinformation strike on this. So
I suppose it could, but fuck them. If the stream goes down, then the stream goes down. I mean, that's just the way that I see it. All of Biden's laptop bullshit has been confirmed as being true. So this guy, if he were any regular citizen, he would be fucking
prison.
drawn and quartered.
At the very least in prison.
Yeah, forever. Forever. You would never see the motherfucker again. If it was any normal person, if Hillary Clinton's emails were if a normal person had destroyed all of those pieces of evidence, that alone would have put you in prison for 20 years. And I'm not trying to rehash all that old shit. It is what it is. Nothing is going to happen. But that's where we're at. But getting to MGTOW as being ID'd as a terrorist organization, which is a legit claim that's being made now. Well, it's illegitimate as far as any of us would be concerned, but they're desperately trying to link acts of murder to incels and then link incels to MGTOW.
Okay, I'm still trying to find that link as far as that one guy that was in Canada that they're trying to say that he was the originator of MGTOW. Now, as far as I knew, there were 5 original members of MGTOW.
Yeah.
And they were all trying to meet up, and because they were all going their separate ways, that's how they got the name for the organization, because all of these men were going their own ways. But
yeah.
As far as that goes, I think that there were a lot of people involved that were trying to, make something that isn't necessarily true. And I'm saying that, there's not only the fact that they try to say that MGTOW is somehow a terrorist organization, or they're trying to link it as best that they can, when it's just simply men that are trying to walk away from a system that they know is unfair. And so they say, nah, we're not having any part of that. And then they try to say that it's a hate group. And it's like, we don't advocate for hate. We don't advocate for violence. I mean, if they bring the violence to us, then, we have to respond. But however, we don't advocate violence. And it's like, they try to call us a cult. And it's like, that's kind of the funny thing there too, is that, we do not try to instill any type of religious beliefs upon anybody. This is your own individual beliefs as far as whatever your religion may be. But however, our philosophy is that, look, no cohabitation, no marriage, no kids. At least the best that you can.
Agreed, 100%. Just to do the best that you can. Unfortunately, a lot of guys find out about this shit well after they've been ingrained. Yeah, well after they've been indoctrinated. They're ingrained in the system, or the system is ingrained in them, or they're being run through the divorce court and child support mill. So yeah, it's a long time in coming for a lot of these guys. Unfortunately, it's not unfortunate that they ended up with children. It's unfortunate that they and their children are being put in this position. That's a terrible thing for these people. Billy the Goat, if their claims were true, there'd be a lot more killing. I agree with you. It's the same claim that the race hustlers and race baiters make all the time. The demand for racism far exceeds the reality. It just does. They need you to be this way. They need you to be compliant, moldable, malleable. That's what they want from you. They want you to shut the fuck up and just take it. And the point is that millions of men have said, nah, I think I'm just going to not do this.
Yeah, well, that's just another part of the critical theory, isn't it? I mean, they want to subdivide everybody. Look, they want to have everybody, do the whole identity politics between male and female, black, white, brown, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all, how can we divide and conquer these people? And then this way we can form them into the happy little slaves that we need for them to be.
Exactamundo. You think about the way that you're manipulated out here. Almost everything that you come across when you first start thinking this way is some kind of manipulation.
If you look around hard enough, you'll see propaganda everywhere, in everything.
Yes, sir. I agree. Angler MGTOW, the church is involved in perpetuating marital abuse on me. It doesn't surprise me, Angler. It doesn't surprise me. The church nowadays has a vested interest in making sure that mama is taken care of. Daddy, if he's not out there sacrificing himself, sacrificing his years and decades and being a compliant motherfucker, he all of a sudden becomes useless to the process. When a man frees himself, he is no longer useful to this machine. That's the big thing that a lot of people don't really get. Yeah, you're out there, you're a man going his own way, but while you're going your own way, they're looking at numbers. they're looking at people that are dusting them off by hundreds of thousands, millions of men are doing this. They won't acknowledge it. They won't say anything until the tipping point is reached, and it's far too late for that.
Well, that's just it, is that, you know, as far as the tipping point goes, I believe that our numbers are far greater than what they will ever admit to. And it was 3 years ago we did a study, and we were roughly at about 15 to 20 million MGTOW worldwide. The latest study that they did, it showed to be 75 to 85 million MGTOW worldwide, and that's a conservative estimate. I mean, the numbers would appear to indicate a much greater margin than that. So it's at the point where I truly believe that MGTOW has reached the mainstream, because you can go to various gaming platforms, you can see our terminology everywhere, you can see, our words, our thoughts, our actions are in just about every aspect of just mainstream life. So it's like, I don't think that we're the fringe minority that needs to be worried about. I believe that the folks that are truly worried are the folks that keep trying to silence us, because they know that our voices do have power. And
Well,
so they have to stop us.
I understand their need to silence us, or people like us, or people that they consider to be divergent or fringe. This shit did not sneak up on them. This has been happening for a long time. And much like the conservatives and the Republicans and the Christians that ignored their sects and their lane for decades and decades and decades, here they are. And this culture is about to take one hell of a swing. And I don't think that there's not going to be any stopping it. Of course, they want to preserve what it is that they've got. Most of these people alive, they've grown up in this. It's all that they know. If they're 38, 45, somewhere around there, they don't know anything else. People like myself, Maxwell, you, I don't want to try to date you there. We understand that there was something before this cultural bullshit took over.
Oh, very much so. I can remember hearing I'm going to say about 73 or 74, it was, she's not yours, it's just your turn. And that was in the early 70s.
Yeah. There's a lot of talking points there's a lot of talking points that have been put up and kind of squashed together in the manosphere. And they think that they're original talking points. This stuff has been said for a long, long time. And it just kind of found a coalescence with a philosophy. And the philosophy was MGTOW.
Well, I happen to think that all of your large corporations, the ones that are owned by specific groups, that they've got an agenda where they believe that they're doing the right thing, but however, they're trying to appeal to about 5 to 6% of the overall population of the world, whereas the other 95% are going, hey, this just isn't right. Why are we doing this?
It's not. And look, man, at best, the alphabet soup population, whatever you want to call them, is 3%. It's about 3% of the entirety of the world. So what do you have? I mean, you have billion dollar corporations that are going ass deep into this stuff and totally rejecting everything that they have sold prior to this, flipping on a fucking dime. It's not organic. That's not an organic change. This is not them saying, "Oh, we've got to get on board, with the cuck train." That's not what's going on here. This is absolutely an effort to destabilize humanity, to make humanity much more pliable and weaker.
Social engineering.
Social engineering, yeah. Lion of MGTOW says they just passed no-fault divorce in England and Wales. And oh my God, is the divorce rate going to skyrocket?
Well, there's a lot of things that you can point at right now and say, hey, this is not going to have a very good outcome. You can point to California. They recently just they've got a bill out there which is going to make, after 1 year, you can do, you know, an abortion on a live child up to 1 year old. And it's like, that's
Let me.
murder.
It's murder. Look, it's murder on this side of the pussy hole or that side of the pussy hole. It's fucking murder. It's murder. I have seen so many bitches endorse this. That kid can be laying in a bassinet getting weighed, and she's like, "Nah, I'm good." And I'm telling you what, right now, any man that would accept that and associate with that, any woman that would accept that and associate with that, they're not human beings. They're fucking skinwalkers. Their soul has been reaved from them. They're gone. They're gone. You've reached the end of your civilization when you're talking about this as being real.
Okay. As much as I would love to disagree with Chronic, I'm afraid that he is right, and that there will be a war, and that, yeah, it's pushing all of our beliefs, and on both sides, it's gearing towards a war. I don't think that it is avoidable. I think that it is inevitable. It's going to happen whether we want it or not. And this is a war between, good and evil, right and wrong. And that's simply
it's good and evil. Yeah, it's not going to be left and right. It's not going to be red or blue or black or white. It's going to be good and evil, and you're going to have to pick a fucking side. You're going to have to.
Well, that's just it, is that for those of us who try to stay in the know on these things, it's like, it appears that we have, a weakened position. But however, the reality is that, we're a hell of a lot stronger than what they think.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Caitlin McIntyre, can't it be argued that the percentage you're quoting is only from people who are out of the closet, quote unquote, so to say, or willing to be open about their orientation? So are we sure that's accurate? Well, we can't really be sure about anything. I mean, when we have two sets of facts, two sets of numbers, two sets of everything, because there's a political divide and a polarization in the Western world that is split right down the fucking middle. You can't really be sure about anything, but you also can say, I can say with confidence, that when you see cucking endorsed in the mainstream, when everything that you see on television has somebody from the Rainbow Brigade in it, when the so-called trans population has exploded to 1,000% growth in 2 years, that is not organic. Not organic. You're absolutely being fucked with. You're being manipulated. And the reason that folks like this despise people like Ron DeSantis and the state of Florida is because they said it what it was. It's grooming. It's grooming.
Exactly
These folks want the ability to indoctrinate your kids to think and be the way that they are. And they probably do understand. Some of them probably don't. But I would say that most of them do understand that it's disgusting and it's slimy and that they are aberrant. They are not normal, and they will never be normal. It is not normal for men to fuck men and women to fuck women. It is not normal. It is aberrant behavior. It is a sexual proclivity. Okay, if that was normal, we would not exist.
Now, you were talking about going back to the whole argument of cooking. It's like, recently there was a Hollywood star who slapped another Hollywood star, and things just aren't looking too good for him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, look, this guy may not realize it or not, but I mean, he just recently checked himself into a rehab, which does not sit well in a courtroom. Okay, then on top of that, it's like, look, he slapped somebody on stage, which that is not a good look in a courtroom. Okay, because all that she's got to do is just claim that he was violent. And it's like, the evidence is already on stage. Who are they going to believe? So it's like, yeah, this is not going to work out as well as what he may think. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see him join MGTOW, or, at least unofficially.
I don't know. I think, look, man, if you take a picture, which you don't have to, there's pictures out there of Jada Pinkett next to Tupac, right? And there's lots of pictures of Jada Pinkett out there next to Will Smith. She's not the same woman. She's not the same woman. Tupac came in, imprinted on her, put her on fucking street grease level forever, for the rest of her life. And Will Smith can't do anything about it except play a hard ass in movies. And he can't muster the courage to cut this bitch loose, to cut that cancer out of his life. And I'm sure just about every guy in here recognizes that and feels that. There is part of me that is absolutely sympathetic to Will Smith. But there's only so much sympathy that you can demonstrate to somebody that refuses to help themselves. And he's not helping himself.
I don't know if you saw that clip that Jeremy from the Quartering had just a night or two ago, but he's on camera and she's filming him in their kitchen
Oh
on
yeah, I saw it.
her Instagram, and it's like,
Yeah.
Don't film me.
Yeah, humiliating him.
And it's like, I do kind of feel sorry for him, but in a way it's like, no, you kind of brought this on yourself. But it goes back to the saying of, you can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. And that's kind of what
agree.
it is.
Yeah, no matter how much money or cash you have in your bank account, it's not going to reshape you mentally or spiritually or emotionally. It's not going to. It can make things easier. It can actually, in some senses, it can make things easier. In a lot of senses, money magnifies who you are as a person. The ability to not care about finances in any way, shape, or form. She doesn't have a financial worry until the day she gets boxed up. So,
yeah, well, not only that, but I mean, California is an alimony state, and it's like, people can't figure out why they're bailing out of California in droves, and it's like, gee, let's think about this communist shithole that you're creating, and then, how you're going to pay for all these, special interest programs, and the average person just like, hey, I can't afford to live here, I'm out. It's like they're trying to bring that to the rest of the United States.
yeah,
Fuck all that.
of course, look, they can bring it anywhere that they want to bring it, and they're going to try. But the way that this is accelerating across the United States, the way that it's ripping through culture, it's obviously not working. And when I say they, the people that really run this motherfucker have not figured out how to fix this. You can say, well, it's a depopulation program. Okay, well, I agree with you on parts of that, not all of that. You can say, well, it's a measure to bleed out whites or to pacify blacks. Okay, all of those have valid points, all of them, because I believe that shit's in there. It's certainly legitimate in some sense, but they haven't figured out how to deal with this. We're not that far off of the 19th century, gang. We've developed more in the last 75 years than in all of human history. So there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for that. And I think that it kind of drives people crazy. And we don't know where we're going as a species. And when you start prioritizing the rights of the dissident over the rights of the health of the body, you've got big problems. The removal of church, traditional church, good church, the removal of prayer from school, the removal of fathers from homes, the removal of little boys from classrooms, young men from colleges. It's happening everywhere.
That's another aspect of it right there, is that, you see, they're using small children as shields. Okay. And the reason that I say that is because what they're trying to do is that they're trying to say, well, think of the children. And these are the same children that, they're trying to, reassign surgery to. They're giving them like, hormone blockers when they're like 2, 3, 4 years old. And, you shouldn't be allowed to, you know, decide to change your gender until you're at least able to vote. And then you have the ability to kind of halfways grow up, almost normal if you can.
Yeah.
Because you see, this is what MGTOW is trying to do is we're trying to give people a sense of sanity in an insane world. And we didn't bring this to, the forefront of everything. We are more or less a reaction to the bigger problem. This is a symptom of the actual problem. That problem is feminism. That problem is Marxism. And you see, what this is that, feminism is a cancer. Okay. If you allow it to spread, it will contaminate everything. It must be
Agreed.
excised.
Agreed. Now,
Come on.
here's an interesting question. I'm going to read a couple out of the chat here in a minute, but I forgot my fucking train. Oh, there it is. You got so many girls, like you do the same way that I do. You peruse like TikTok or Instagram or whatever, any of these social media sites where people can get on and just kind of give an unfettered opinion, no matter what it's about. 8%, less than 8% of females polled, I got to say that's important, polled, identify as feminists, right? But you still get all of the same feminist entitlement in every single fucking video that you see everywhere. Everywhere. And then you have the problem of chameleons that are coming up and trying to get ahead of what they kind of see is coming. They kind of see that it's coming. If you put your fucking ear to the rail, you can understand when you can't find a man anywhere as good looking as these bitches are, not all of them, but a lot of them, right? And they can't find a fucking man. And what they say, high value men, it's not really high value men, but men with a lot of resources, material resources, the ones that they want to try to milk dry, when they're not touching you, there's problems. You're looking at the end of your civilization. And I think some of them just try to get out ahead of it.
Well, that's just it, is that we are not reproducing fast enough to create a replacement taxpayer tax base. I mean, we aren't having enough children, and that is part of the depopulation. If you want to go there, I mean, Klaus Schwab himself said that by 2050, he wants to have the world's population reduced down to about 4 billion people. Okay.
Yeah.
Who?
So in
Who
30 years, you're saying basically roughly, in 30 years, you want 3 billion people, 3.5 billion people gone.
Well,
3.5 billion.
Well, they
I don't
seem
know.
to be working on a sterilization program then, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's working out pretty good because about 50% of motherfuckers all over the place went and took those bang bangs. Yeah. Okay, Solo Cryptid Hunter. I have 2 friends going through divorce right now. They are finally seeing how great it is to be single, but they both had to get fucked over hard first. That's a shame. I don't want that for anybody. Brandon Trueblood at Hammerhand. They have even changed the language from, yes, I saw this. I actually did a video on this not too long ago. Changed the language from cuckold to hot wife. They are trying to normalize polyandry. It's disgusting and completely immoral. Yeah, it's pretty bad. You're not a hot wife because your old man can't keep your interest or because you have no morals or ethics. You see, that doesn't make you a hot wife. It makes you a slut. It makes you a whore. That's what it makes you, madam. And by the time you get to 30 and your Arby's roast beef is slapping hard, guess what? Finding that guy is going to be next to impossible. Making babies is going to be next to impossible. 32 years old, 95% of your eggs have dropped.
Well, then not only that, but it's like most guys don't want to be tapping into some cheddar flaps that, have had like 10 million people running through there. I mean, it gets more traffic than the Holland Tunnel. Jeez, I mean, it's not hard to figure out. This is not rocket science. I mean, it is what it is.
Man, it is, man. Parliament strifey, reminiscent of 100 years back in Germania. Yes, man. Christus Headland, that doesn't make you a hot wife. Fuck no, it doesn't. Does not make you a hot wife. You're not a hot wife if you're taking dick while you're married to somebody. You stood in front of a pastor, a preacher, a pagan minister, whatever, and you swore your loyalty and allegiance. And you swore it before God in most cases.
Yeah,
so it just doesn't mean shit. Say what?
I said, till divorce do us part.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Look. Yeah. Yeah. Mandalore the MGTOW spoiled pink snapper. Disgusting. Oh, man. So SCE, did you have anything else on the docket, sir?
And I just wanted to go over, a couple of things as far as, the projection that they have. I mean, once again, props and kudos to JD. Look, we've got so damn many really good MGTOW content creators out there, and we also have a few which don't get a whole lot of traffic. And I mean, you're talking about, that one guy, Pete, LOM. If you haven't watched any of his videos, you need to go see them. RPM, Red Pill Fred. Look,
yeah,
there are so many damn good, and I mean, just phenomenal MGTOW content creators. I can't name all of them because it would take literally hours, because we can go through the list up and down. It's like there are just so many, and there's a lot that, we're just now finding their channels. We believe that there's roughly about 300 MGTOW content creators, and I mean, we've only got like maybe 100 in our network. And I mean, we've got a lot of that are in Brazil.
There's easily 300 just here in the States that reach millions, tens of millions.
Well, that's just it. Is that, think of all the folks that we're reaching worldwide, and it's like, they understand MGTOW in Japan, and that's, on top of the herbivore males and, the hikikomoris. There's, they've it's reached the point where they have heard of us in Saudi Arabia. So it's like,
I know.
How bad does it have to be?
Look, man, when you reach the conclusion that someone like the hikikomoris or the grass eaters reach, to just stop, disengage, and nobody knew about them until this started to spread globally. We were doing it here already. It was originating in Canada, spread very fast to Australia. It's in every country, everywhere, on every city block right now. Right now. And the only way that these people who control your airwaves can talk about it is in a murderous sense, a murderous tone. Oh, this guy did this, that, and the other. Oh, that guy did this, that, and the other. But they won't talk about why. And no, it's not because they felt entitled to pussy, because your pussy, contrary to your popular belief, is not the end-all be-all. It's because they are being denied basic human rights and privileges. They're being crushed because most of these young men that grow up into older men, that are fortunate to grow up into older men and be healthy, have been run through a medical system at the behest of female teachers, female caretakers, female single mothers.
Yeah, they get put on Ritalin just so they can be controlled. Okay.
Yes.
This is messing up their minds, something fierce. And then not only that, but you see, this is another aspect where they try to label MGTOW as groomers, where, they are the actual groomers, and, they're trying to do this whole anti-incel training. I believe it was over in the UK, but, it's, this is the actions of, individuals.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's got his little dirt bike going.
So you got a little bike going out there. Yeah, man, you're not wrong. Tom's Wonderful. Demonetized channels are cranking out content. South Korea elected an anti-feminist president. They can't stop it. No, they can't. With the popularization of folks like Viktor Orban You know, the guy in Poland, the fella that's Erdogan in Turkey, and these fellas, man. What's his name? Bolsonaro in Brazil. I guess Bolsonaro's still in power in Brazil. I hadn't checked lately, but these guys, they're really kicking this shit right in the ass because they know what it is. It's not like these people don't know what it is. They're cowards. Most of these people out here, your politicians, are scumbags. They're cowards. They don't want to go and piss off millions of women, right? They don't want to piss them off. They want to coddle them. They want to give them their fucking gibs and their goodie bags. They want to make them feel like they're entitled, but they want their fucking vote too. And I don't really understand the whole vote thing anymore. It's not like it matters. It's not like it matters. I used to think that it mattered. It doesn't matter.
Actually, that's another part of the agenda is that, look, if they can, you know, falsely label you as like an extremist or a terrorist, you know, they can round you up, put you in, you know, some type of prison, take away your voting rights, and then this just gives them more power to create more laws to screw you over, which is why I say repeal the 19th.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But you know, and I'm all about fucking repealing the 19th. But if you repeal the 19th, it's going to come with a cost. I mean, it's going to be a tremendous
very major cost.
Yes, it's a tremendous cost. So let's just say that the 19th is on the table, right? What do you think the opposition is going to say? What do you think they want in exchange for the 19th, in exchange for the female right to vote being stricken? What do you think that they would want?
Your servitude.
That's sure, but the women are going to want something because all of these bitches have been born into this, right? So they don't know anything else. So they're going to want something for themselves. If they're going to give up their right to vote, right? The right that they've been enshrined with to vote, to stand on equal footing with us who have to squeeze our fucking blood out on command, right? Well, y'all do. I don't, but y'all do. What do you think they want for that?
Okay, well, let's get this out of the both houses of Congress, you know, as far as like Congress and the Senate. Let's actually stop pigeonholing this thing and let's get in that female draft. Let's do this. You know, if you're going to claim equality, then you're going to need to get your face blown off as well. Okay, it's just that simple.
That's not funny, man, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, I agree. Look, I agree with you, man. 100% on that. I think if you want all of this representation, you want 50% of government, you want 50% of corporations and boards, then you goddamn well want 50% of sanitation workers. You want 50% of sewer workers. You want 50% of highline wire workers, 50% auto mechanics, 50% truck drivers, 50% construction. You don't get partial representation, homegirl. You want it all, you come and get all of the bad with all of the good. You see,
yeah,
just
equality
like
is not a pick and choose menu. I mean, look, the downside of equality is equality, okay? That's the whole thing is that, look, you can't cherry pick the best parts of it and decide, well, this is the equality that I want, and so I'll take this and I'll leave that. No, equality is equality. You want equality? Then you're going to have to pay like everybody else. It's just that simple. Look, I have no love for politicians. Each and every one of these folks, they're absolute parasites. They go up there, they get, you know, huge amounts of donations and contributions, which they get into high interest bearing accounts that they make money off of, while the rest of us are like starving to death. And you know, they get all of this, you know, free goodies. You know, they get the golden parachute, they get a better, you know, retirement plan than your average person collecting Social Security. You know, they get all these junkets and stuff, and it's like, yet the rest of us are like, you know, scraping to, you know, pay together our, you know, keep our bills going. And it's like, you know, they get paid by these political action committees, which are bought and paid for by, you know, various groups and individuals, which, you know, have enormous amounts of money. And they're all trying to get this, you know, great reset pushed into motion. It's like, you know, screw all that great reset. That's just basically, that's a polite way of saying, give us all your stuff, because it's like the first thing that they talk about is, reallocation of assets, transfer of wealth. Well, that just means we want to be richer and we want you to be poorer, and we can determine what you make and how you make it. And then not only that, but you saw what happened with the trucker strike there in Canada. It's like they froze the accounts of these people. And it's like, look, these people, they just wanted to avoid having to get an inoculation, and they don't like the whole masks and everything, and it's like they shut the bank accounts down on them. You don't think for a minute that they're not going to do that with your regular bank account if you go against their narratives?
I already knew that was coming. I mean, we saw that years ago with Gavin McInnes when PayPal started fucking with him, and then when people, members of the Proud Boys, Chase Bank was finding out who these guys were and canceling their fucking bank accounts. So I knew that years ago when that was coming down the pike. I knew that was going to be the case. And that's why I'm all for decentralized shit, blockchain. I'm all for it. I'm all in on it, because at least I can have my shit to myself and these scumbags can't touch it. You see, they can arrest you, right? They can murder you, but they can't get your fucking money. Not if you're covering yourself right.
Okay. Now that gives you kind of an idea of why I constantly shill your Odyssey channel in these live streams all the time, because you see, behind the scenes, I'm posting up your PayPal, I'm posting up your Odyssey, I'm posting up your hammers hitters, and I'm doing all these things. And look, I don't do this for you. I do this for Chronic. I do this for just about anybody. If they have like some type of an account, I will try to link that to the people to where, hey, look, if you have a couple of bucks to toss in, this is what you need to do, because you see, in order to get this message out there, look, we don't get paid. We don't get monetized like, certain other classes of folks out there. I mean,
like
everything that we
anybody.
do, anybody. So, we basically, we have to go out there and, uh, pass the plate, so to speak. It's like, hey, you don't have to contribute, but if you did, it would be great. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But it's always a choice. I don't sit and the other motherfuckers will say, well, it's a choice too, but I don't hook it to the secrets of life in 17 easy lessons at $99.95. I don't do that. I've never done that, and I will never do that. It's just an annoyance. It doesn't annoy me that these people are exploiters, that they engage in this type of usury. That doesn't annoy me. It annoys me that people buy into it so fucking easy. But that's just how far we've fallen.
I guess you'll never be a member of the Seminole Order then, huh?
Well, if I'm lucky, somebody will blow my head off first. Yeah, fuck all that shit. Fuck that shit. HMK Films at Hammerhand. Look at Russia. They shut off everything. Oligarchs might lose a couple of million, but it'll cost the average Russian way more. They can't even bank. They're going to be going through it for a little bit, man. This thing with the Ukraine is not what it appears to be. With everybody trying to sell you on an all-out fucking war or World War III or horse shit like that, the only way that that's going to go down is if Corn Pop, the chief potato, decides that he's going to fucking send some nukes over there. That's the only way that that's going to go off. That's it. And I don't think that that's highly likely. And if it does happen, get your fucking pitchforks and your shotguns and head to your local federal building. Allegedly.
Yeah. Peaceful yet fiery?
Peaceful yet fiery. Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
Well, that's just it. That, hey, unlike other groups, I mean, we don't get pallets of bricks shipped in everywhere we go. So
yeah, that's pretty amazing that people don't see that, and when they're out there, they're picketing, with their grassroots effort, but these pristine, manicured, finely made signs and banners are being pulled out of U-Hauls. I'm like, bitch, it's like a caravan. It's a protest caravan that is well financed, and they ship them from hotspot to hotspot to hotspot to stir up shit and country break. That's all. That's the only purpose that these fucking imbeciles serve. And they're too fucking dumb to see that they're just being used up.
Well, we all know that the letters in that whole company, they stand for buying large mansions. So it is what it
Oh,
is.
yeah. I'm so hurt and offended. I expected all the hatred to come from them crackers and Republicans. I never thought it would come from my Blacksons, folks. The Blixes, they're betraying me. Oh, fuck that bitch. Millions, tens of millions unaccounted for. But it's cool, man. One black family ended up with a mansion. So everything's good now, right?
Yeah, well, one of the things that, I wanted to touch on was, the projection and propaganda is off the charts. It's kind of like we kind of need to, let these folks know, hey, look, don't buy into the propaganda that they're trying to sell you. Friends don't let friends trust the government. These are folks that, they have their pocket's best interest in mind and not yours. So,
Agreed, man. I agree with you 100% on that. But you know what the best way not to buy into that shit is? You have to be mentally strong. You have to be grounded in what do we always say? Morals, ethics, values, and principles. You know? You
that's
have
just
to
it.
be grounded. Go ahead.
Recently in one of Rad's comment sections, I put down that particular comment is that, as Hammerhand consistently says, you have to keep your morals, ethics, values, and principles because these are your anchors to sanity in an insane world. And it really is. These are the folks that are going out of their way to try to gaslight you, tell you everything is wrong, and they're trying to do everything that they can to make your life as crazy as possible. Look, if you don't build your foundation, if you don't build on a firm foundation, which are your morals, ethics, values, and principles, your building will collapse. It's just that simple. It's like, look, these are the things that we have to have in order to move forward in a productive way. So these are some crazy folks that we're dealing with, man. We have to, keep our wits about us. That's all there is to it.
Agreed. 100%. JD Hensley, at Hammer, my country, South Africa, has been declared the most unequal country in the world. Well, you poor bastards. You poor bastards. You sit there, you put the whole motherfucker together, and, them indigenous folks, they felt left out. You gave them shopping stores and food, culture, language, all kinds of shit. Put pants and shirts on them, and now they want your land too. That's just the way it goes when you have a government, the ANC, right? Is it the ANC over there? Did I get that one right, or did I mess that one up?
I think it is the ANC, yeah.
It's the ANC, right? Yeah, just outwardly championing the idea of murdering white farmers. So, and then the opposition has to run harder, so they want to murder more white farmers. But that's okay, though. That's not actually happening over there, allegedly.
No, they stopped doing that because they were starving. Guess who was growing the food?
It's just unfucking believable to me that anywhere you go, it is this easy to stoke racial hatred. Look, man, there are differences. Just like we say that there are differences between men and women, there are differences between the upper echelon of men, and I'm speaking performance-wise, sports-wise, right? And almost all other men. The same with women. It's the same between races and creeds. There are differences. Plain and simple. They can't not be acknowledged. If you got any truth in your heart at all, you see it. Just like I see it, you see it, everybody in the fucking chat sees it. And folks don't want to be reminded of that. It don't have to be stuffed in your face, You ain't got to live it and eat it and breathe it every single day. But it is what it is. I mean, if you're trying to compare somebody that's a fucking 88 next to somebody that's got an almost 2 bill IQ, it's a pretty clear difference.
Well, my belief is that, we are all here to complement each other. We're not here always to compete. So, that's the whole thing is that, look, men and women, we were designed to complement each other. We weren't designed to compete with each other. It's the same way with the, racial aspects as well. It's like, look, we all bring something to the table. Okay. At least the men do anyway. So it's like,
Well, bitches bring a bag full of L's. That's what they bring to the table. And this is my first boyfriend. This is my 45th boyfriend. And I'm sorry, you didn't meet Junior, Sissy, and Junior. We're a package deal, by the way.
yeah, these are my 4 kids from 6 baby daddies.
I mean, that's kind of the way it is. No matter where you turn now, that's what it is. We like to talk about polls when we're talking about the Overton window, and the polls shifting violently to the left. And the middle is just disappearing. It's the same when it comes to IQ. It's the same when it comes to culture. The middle is disappearing. It has evaporated, and you got this polarization of, say again?
Said this is all social engineering.
Yes, of course. Agreed.
They want you just smart enough to run the machines to where this way you're not smart enough to question the system that's abusing you.
Well, yeah, man. If you come home and you're busted and you're tired every fucking day and your feet are aching and you can barely pay your fucking rent and food, and somebody still has the gall to look at you and say, well, you can get another job. I mean, you don't need to sleep 8 hours. You don't need to. You can work 7 days a week. I mean, it'll only take you 7 or 8 years. When somebody can legit say that to you, they should be taken out back and 2 behind the ear. Because that's just the way that I think about it. And fuck anybody that has a problem with that. That is a complete disconnect from reality. A complete disconnect. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it.
Well, then you've got the situation where you've got guys that have gone through the divorce court ringer, and I mean, they're paying child support, they're paying alimony. They can't even afford to buy themselves an apartment because they're forced to live out of their car, for the foreseeable future because, the government is taking like 67% of their paycheck away. And it's like, he's literally working all the time and, whatever, he doesn't have any spare money. That's the whole problem.
Fuck that. I would tell any man right now, I'm sorry to interrupt you, any man right now that is out there paying child ordered extortion, look, man, this is not a law. Title 4D is not a law. It is a statute. When you are summoned, quote unquote, to go to court and sign all your fucking rights away, that's what you're doing. You're signing your rights away. You just don't know that that's what you're doing. You have to cease those payments immediately. Cease those payments. Stop doing that. But Hammer, they're going to put me in jail. Go to fucking jail. Stop feeding that motherfucking fat cunt that does not want you. Stop that. Okay? Taking care of your child is a different story. Or children is a different story. If you got 8 fucking kids, get a goddamn vasectomy. Because that's a problem with you. Take some accountability.
This would be a good time to plug Amen Osiris's channel.
Yeah, it would be. Any of you that are having problems in that arena, if you're getting fucking sucked dry. Hang on one second. You're getting fucking sucked dry, and there's some shit going down that you don't think is good, or your whatever the judge was. The judge is not an actual judge in these cases. They cease to become a judge and become a magistrate when they preside over a Title 4D case. They can't be a judge. It's in direct conflict with what they've said that they were going to do, with the oath that they have taken. The oath may be shallow, it may be trite, but it's still held against them. See, plain and simple. Amen Osiris, Title 4D Destroyer, is on YouTube. That man will get you started on the process of disabusing yourself from being financially carved up. And I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy. You'll need to download a PDF copy of Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. You have to learn the legal language with which they cage you. Just that simple.
Well, that's just it, is that when they become a magistrate, they no longer represent the law in an impartial way. Okay, this is where, instead of being a representative of the law, they represent the government on behalf of the mother, and therefore they cannot render an impartial verdict on this. And so that is, one, a violation of your rights. And then number two, they also, for the amount of money that they collect, they also get a kickback to their retirement plan. So
Yes.
this is all a part of the $1 billion a year divorce industry that makes enormous amounts of money, and they want you to actively buy into this, which is why you're seeing men walk away from marriage and having kids at a phenomenal rate. We don't have the numbers to re-support the system, and it's going to fall on the younger generation to hold up something which is going to collapse anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Look, man, it's not going to be here for the younger generation. I'm sorry to say that. I'm doing the best that I can right now to get my son in a position that when dear old dad departs, when this spirit leaves this body, I'm trying to get my son into a position where he's got 6 figures that he can manage and do the best that he can through life. It'll be a hell of a lot more than I had, that my brother had, that's for sure. Vanish Mantle at Hammerhand. I would love to see you chat with Nick Rekieta about Title 4D or any other repugnant laws that have ruined the lives of men. If Nick Rekieta extends the invite, I'll be there. But until he does, yeah, it just is what it is. I very rarely call folks up and ask them to appear on their shows. Typically, they extend the hand, and 9 times out of 10, I grab it. But I don't, like I was talking with SCE about this a little bit ago. There's a couple of females that want, to come on the channel. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't platform females. There's 80,000 fucking channels out there that will platform females. I'm not going to be one of them. I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Well, I can understand that and appreciate it, but they do want to talk to you, and I think that Good Mother in particular was wanting to talk to you because she wanted to show you some stuff, and it's like it mentioned both you and Chronic, and somehow or another they think that Good Mother is the one who pulls the strings to the war band. And I heard this and I couldn't help but laugh because I thought this was just hilariously funny.
Well, it's pretty clear that whoever is trying to push that as a narrative don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. And not because we're men and they're women, but because they don't know the way that things work over here. It's just that simple. They just don't know the way that things work. And these cunts will say anything. Now, I'm not talking about the Good Mother or those folks that want to talk, but I'm talking about the other bitches that are going at them. They will say anything to try to dehumanize other women. And they do it successfully. If you don't toe the fucking rope, they'll hang you with it.
Well, that's just it, is that you see, they do use a lot of race baiting, and they do use a lot of the feminist narrative. And it's like, the funny thing is that, I can go on to, Black Wolf Stream, and he and I talk fairly often. It's like, he and I, we can talk, anything about, like racism or colorism or shadeism or just anything. And because it's me and him, we can say whatever we want, and, we don't have to worry about it. But you get on platforms like this, where everything that you say, is basically held against you because, it's like, on one hand, they want to be a platform. On the other hand, they want to be a publisher. And it's like, look, everything that Barack Obama did as far as, the Smith-Mundt Act, that was just stupid. I mean, you don't try to use propaganda against your own people. And it's like,
was it stupid or was it part of the plan?
It was part of the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I have to believe it was part of the plan. Vanish Mantle in the chat at Hammerhand. I'll try to reach out to Nick and get in touch with Drexel about it. That's cool, bro. I mean, if that's the way that it's going to go down, then that's fine. I mean, these folks know how to get a hold of me, so I'd like to go on and talk to Nick about stuff like that. He's got a sharp mind, and yeah.
Yeah, it was, what was it? Not last weekend, but weekend before last. You were on Drex's stream, and that was a great stream.
Yeah, I thought it was. I've still got that saved here, man. I've been thinking about just either putting it up in its entirety or chopping it up and making segments out of it. So I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I'll try to get that done by the weekend.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Is that there's a number of people that want to try to say that MGTOW is something that it isn't, which is they're trying to say it's a hate group. It's it's
all
a
I have to
cult.
say is prove it. Prove it. How
Yeah,
can
they
you
don't bring
prove
any
it?
evidence. They do not bring any evidence.
You bring nothing but a salty opinion. That's what they bring to the fucking table. Nothing but a salty opinion, nothing but a shitty opinion. You can say anything that you want to say today, basically, with no repercussions, no accountability. So what you say really doesn't mean a lot of anything to anybody. I mean, if I loved you, if I had stock in you, if it would break my heart for you to say that, then it might have an effect. But just some rando coming out there talking shit doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's happened 100,000 fucking times in the last year. So it doesn't mean anything to me. They can say anything that they want to say. I mean, they have to present proof. You got to justify the argument that you're making. The burden of proof is on you. So make your case.
Yeah, they don't bring any receipts, and you know that. It's kind of like it was difficult for the longest time for Chronic to get a hater onto the stream, and it's like, man, now he's got like these complete lunatics jumping on there, and it's like, what is wrong with you mentally that you have to spurg out on a stream like this? It's like, and Chronic's just going to roast you. Why do you do shit like this?
Yeah, man. NPC David Fearmon. What?
I was going to say in the chat, it says, real talk at Hammerhand, Black Ram 313 wants you on his late night show.
I love Black Ram and Oheen, man. I'd be happy to do that. I mean, these brothers know how to get a hold of me, man. If that's what they want, then they can just go ahead and email me.
Get that bot.
They can just go ahead and email me. Yeah, knock that shit out. There you go. And thank you very much. Anybody that wants an appearance, that's fine. I don't fuck around. I don't charge appearance fees or anything like that. I mean, ain't no goddamn star. I'm just some fucking guy with an opinion, and I've said that from day one. I'm just a guy that got tired of getting kicked, and I'm just trying to live my life. And it's not cool the way that people are being treated, the way that men are being treated. I don't need women under my foot to feel like a man. I just don't need those bitches trying to slash my throat open while I'm trying to be myself.
Well, the funny thing is that they're trying to categorize, different aspects of the manosphere into, an extremist or terroristic ideology. And it's like, look, there are MGTOW, Red Pill, incel, pickup artists, and it's like then you got the MRAs. Now I still know a few MRAs, and for the most part these are all good guys. Okay, incels, I know a couple of them, and for the most part they really don't have a whole lot to do with MGTOW. As a matter of fact, they think that they're too good for MGTOW, and it's like, and then you got the black pill guys who think that everything is just, it's over, you might as well just douse yourself with gasoline and go running into the fire. And it's like,
yeah, man. Like I said on the last address that I had on that, I don't buy into that shit. And it's nihilism. And if you buy into nihilism, nihilism will kill you. Plain and simple. Nihilism will kill you. When you have no hope, no future, no goals, no motivation, life becomes very, very long until you decide to eat a bullet. It's just that simple. NPC David Fearmonger. Mike Dice has been trolling city councils lately And the liberal city council cannot differentiate between Mark trolling or if he was being serious. I saw those. And if you didn't know that it wasn't Mark Dice, that or you didn't know that it was Mark Dice, and you thought it was just some rando up there talking shit, it sounds like 100 other of those motherfuckers that have actually gotten in front of city councils or college boards and said the exact same thing, and they were taken seriously.
Is that guy that went up in front of the Portland, Oregon City Council and just started acting all crazy and going all over the place?
I don't know if he did that. I hadn't seen that one. If he did, then yeah, he did. But no, I don't think it's the same guy. I don't think he's been in Portland. He operates out of California.
Yeah, well, I saw this one guy, and I mean, he was spurting out behind the microphone, and it's like, I thought he really was legitimately, screeching out all these liberal, you know, screeching points, and it's like, no, he was actually trolling them, and it's like, my God, this guy is he's got this shit down. He understands these people, and it's like he's trolling everyone, and it's like,
I know who you're talking about. I've seen him. That he's dark haired, kind of tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that guy before. I've saw that. Yeah, that was a little while ago though. But yeah, I've seen him. So yeah, I don't know. Gin Bottle, he wears blue hair for the occasion. You know, Blessed Veteran Adventure, there are two guys, Mark Dice and another guy. Yeah, he mentioned the other guy's name, and I can't for the life of me recall it, but it's in the first couple of Mark Dice videos. If you go to Mark's channel and you go look up his recent videos, he mentions that because somebody said something to him in the comments that he was ripping him off. He had actually contacted him first to see if he could do that and, and not get any bullshit. So Ghost MGTOW, Hammer, I heard the Smith thing was staged to sell alopecia products to Pfizer. Well, if it did, it costs him a lifetime ban at the Academy. So it wasn't staged. It wasn't staged. Well, look at this. Mr. Former in the house. Been a minute, Mr. Former. Been a fucking minute. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Former.
How's Detroit, man? How's the pizza biz?
Thought he was in Boston, man.
Was he Boston? I thought he was in Detroit. Oh, shit. Well, Boston or Detroit, almost the same thing.
It's getting there.
Yeah, no shit, man. Russia Bad Man. Good evening, Hammer and Chad. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Sigma Rodan. Afternoon, Mr. Former. Mr. Former. Man, you are one that I would like to do a stream with. I'll tell you that right now. So you ever get itches and you want to come on for a little bit, holler, man, and we'll work one out.
Brother, actually, that would be a really good idea. And the reason that I say that is because, I think that a lot of guys still miss the roundtables.
I think that they do too, but there's only so much that you can do. I can only extend so many hands to get folks to grab them. Look, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. A lot of people would like to work with me, but they're afraid to work with me. We just know that that's the truth. We know that's what it is. They're afraid to work with me. I never changed the moniker. I never dropped the acronym. I don't bow. I don't scrape. I don't ask for permission to exercise my God-given rights.
Oh, you're a fucking terrorist then.
That must be the case. And guilt by association goes a long way with places like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google, and even your U.S. government.
Well, we know who the real terrorists are. My God, that's the whole thing is that most of these folks, they aren't aware of the whole connection between, big tech and these leftist lobbies and how they use these, leftist think tanks to manipulate the, whatever the message is, it has to go through that particular lobby. And it's like, this is done on all of these platforms. And it's like, I'm not going to say it's conspiracy theory stuff because, all of my conspiracy theories have become conspiracy realities. And it's like, man, I mean, they've already got 34 of the 39 correct. And it's like, hey.
Yeah, man, that's about the case, ain't it? Vid loss killed too many of my brain cells to hold a conversation with Hammer. Well, damn, man. I mean, I could dumb it down a little bit if you want. Ooh, that was burn. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Jim McIntosh. Yep, Mouse Utopia. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the Mouse Utopia experiment, go look it up. It is incredibly interesting, and it's very, very telling about the nature of organic life. It really is.
All 26 of those experiments, each of the colonies died, and they don't have the sophisticated communication systems that we do.
That's right.
But yet
I think
we mirror ourselves. We are following that trajectory almost to a T. And it's like, go figure. How does this happen?
Yeah, bud, we're in it, man. I mean, whether people want to admit it or not, the population, number one, global population, is too big to control. And it's clear that it's too big to control. And the fact that there isn't more crime and more social anarchy is astonishing to me. So that tells me that people basically have the wherewithal to keep it together and be decent, and that decent is not arbitrary. Most people know what decency is, what good common sense is. They know how to regulate themselves and police their own neighborhoods. They know how to do that.
Well,
It's just that this stuff is being stolen from them little bit by little bit and making them infirmed and dependent and weak.
I see another aspect of that, and is like, I'm just going to toss a hypothetical situation out there, and I'll just let you figure, your thoughts on this.
Yes, sir.
Now, just suppose that you had some incredibly rich people that were, I don't know, say, funding all of these nefarious activities all around the world, and this was to push a goal in mind, to change the social dynamics of everything, to change the economics of everything, to change the situations of people, to get them to act crazier than what they would normally be, so this way you could make them more malleable to your way of thinking, so this way you could exploit them in any way that you deemed necessary. Now, that's just my thoughts on that matter, but
Well, what did old Red say in that movie with Andy Dufresne about pressure and time? It only takes pressure and time to make people insane or to make them conform.
Pressure
it only takes that. Say again?
Said pressure and heat also makes diamonds, but it's like, you're not going to find too many diamonds like that. So
yeah, pressure. I think pressure by itself creates heat. So yeah, but these folks, they're not dumb. They're not dumb. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing to an extent. I don't think that they can predict all of the outcomes. They can get to where they call it a certain amount of acceptable loss is what they'll call it. Like Gates buying up all of this fucking farmland out there in Nebraska and the Midwest. That's being done in preparation for something 30 years down the road.
Of course it is.
That's not being done so he can go out there and build a farmhouse today.
No, they've got this mapped out, and it's like, I can remember, Jacques Attali writing about, certain things that we're seeing on a firsthand basis right now. It's like, everything that we're seeing it's been written down since the 1980s that I know of. The earliest accounts that we have is from like 1958. Somebody else said it was from 1955, but it's like, I can just go with the information that I have, and it's like, some of my information, it's like, well, some of it's hit and miss as it is anyway. So, we're just doing the best that we can to try to move along as best as we can and keep everybody else informed as much as we can. So it's like, there are people that are actively trying to, get you to buy into this whole system of usury, where this way they can make you, a slave to the system. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Well, I think people really have to get the idea between their ears that they are going to be their own sovereign. If you choose to believe in religion, you come second only to God, right? But you have to be your own sovereign. You cannot be partner to the nanny state. You can't be. Ghost MGTOW says BlackRock is buying all the real estate, them and several others. And why? Why would you do that? So that you can either tear it apart or create a permanent renter class. And that sounds a little more likely to me.
Well, once again, it goes back to the social engineering. I mean, when you talk about, if you want to control the people, you control the healthcare system, you control the media, you control the economics, you control everything about their daily lives. And then not only that, but you see, you create a network which works on basically the same level as like a cell phone tower, but however, this is a network that they can use, your household appliances to spy on you. They're like, hey Siri,
And they
how are you going
do.
to spy on me
They
today?
do. Yeah, they do. These things do actively listen to you. You remember a few years ago when PlayStation or Xbox, I can't remember which one, had that that OS that was spying on customers?
Yeah, they still are.
You fucking crazy. Well, yeah, they probably still are. I'm not talking about just data collection. I'm talking about they find all kinds of shit embedded in these things, but you have to be really, really, really smart with computers and dissecting computer science forensics to understand what's going on. It's being marketed to you as a game and as entertainment, and you're paying for your own enslavement to a large degree. And you just look around you, man. They call it prosperity. They call it the American dream, right? The land of milk and honey, all of this shit. Some of that's true, but it's truer, in my opinion, to believe that you've just been talked into paying for your own slavery. You pay for your own residence, right? You pay for your own food, but you can't go nowhere. You can't do anything. You can't change any laws. You don't wear leg irons anymore, but you have digital irons now.
Man, are you trying to sell me on this whole idea of universal basic income? Because it's not working.
No, brother, I ain't trying to do that, man. You just get out there and you do the best that you can. And that's what I do every day. I do the best that I can. I go to work, I come home, and I love the stuff that I got. I go and thumb through eBay and collect a few more. I sit down and do some drawings, and I look at the resources in front of me right now. I look at the resources to my right, to my left, behind me, and I know that I wouldn't have that if I were arm in arm with a succubus. I know that. I know that. Because their expectation is for me to take care of them without taking care of myself. Just like your government.
Yeah, well, that's just it, is that you see, somehow or another, if you invite someone like that into your house, what happens is that along the way, all of your stuff gets tossed out and you get stuff in there that you never wanted any part of. And it's like, well, you can have this one room, this man cave, and then even at that, you don't get that. I mean, your man cave is taken over by other people. It's like, now how in the hell did this happen? Yeah, I won't go back to that. No.
Yeah, there ain't none of that, bro. The term to me, man cave, is fucking offensive. It is offensive. There's not many things, really, now I mean this, that bring genuine, ire, spite, where spit's flying out of my fucking mouth when I start talking about it. But man cave is one of them. I didn't work my ass off, save up tens of thousands of dollars, put down on a home, impregnate some broad, make this family happen, do the daily grind that you got to do for years just to get that ball rolling, so somebody can relegate me to a fucking room. Nope.
And they say, oh, I'm not happy, and your life is fucked.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I don't put myself in that position anymore. Lion of MGTOW says, I prefer bachelor pad. Yeah. But the whole fucking pad. You know what I'm saying? It's like when the frog has the lily pad, I've got the pond with all the lily pads.
Well, that's because he's mastered his lockout game. That's why. I'm telling
That's
you right
right.
now.
Hashtag
He's got it
GTN, baby.
He
Give
knows
them
what's up.
nothing. Nothing, not a fucking thing. They can go out and earn it for themselves. These demanding, petulant cunts can go get it for themselves, right? They're all about that cash. They're all about that dough, that green. What have you done for me lately? Flashing their titties, their ass, everything that God gave them out there for any motherfucker that comes up with a knot big enough. They will do anything for it, and they've proven it over and over and over again, times 25, 35 million. So,
Eventually, these women are going to lose their ability to stay on OnlyFans. When they hit that wall, and it's like, then they're ready to settle down and looking for a commitment. And it's like, yeah, well, you should have thought about that before you jumped on the carousel and decided to go playing around. Because it's like, look, I don't want your cheating ass back here, so you need to figure out a better plan because I ain't it.
get to stepping. That's the fucking plan. Get to fucking stepping. See you later. I used to be the kind of guy that would be like, oh, baby, well, I mean, I kind of understand, and, maybe a little. I got it. I kind of understand. But, I don't do that anymore. I don't understand and refuse to understand or make exceptions for or acquiesce to other people's petulant bullshit. I refuse. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. If you want a man, you want a decent man, okay, that's not a man that can fly you out to Dubai to shit in your hair. That is not a decent man. Okay, a decent man is 99% of all the men that you will never see. You can't see them because you don't know what they are.
Yeah, they friend zoned them all.
That's right. They took the best opportunities for them to be mothers, to be wives, and they shit canned them. That's just the way that it is out here. And it's been that way for decades. It's just that the internet, the information age, is making it to where men understand this. That's the real change, is men's understanding of their disposability.
Well, that's just it. You see, now because we alert men to these dangers that, all of us face on, practically a day. Absolutely on a daily basis. They try to accuse us of, spreading hateful misinformation and, hate speech and, it's all gender biased. No, we are exposing the truth of how they actually are. And you need to listen because we don't just say this just to be saying it. We say it because it's true. We can go after case study after case study after case study. And these things, they show themselves, just like what you've been saying for years now. It's like these grifters in the manosphere, they expose themselves. It's like all that you have to do is just wait. They'll show themselves to you.
Yeah. You give them 5 or 6 months, they get real comfortable, and then they start telling you who they really are. Guys like Jack Murphy took a little bit longer to turn out. John Goldman, he took a little bit longer to turn out, not that much. And that's why they want to call it the Mano Swamp, or disbanded. Let's come up with another term. That's why they don't want to be associated with it, because they can't control it. I said 2 fucking years ago that they will attempt to come up with another name for it to replace it so that they can control everything about it. And that they're going to try to do that.
So I guess you're not going to buy into the whole idea of the Americosphere, huh?
No, I think no. no, we're pretty good there, man. Let me jump up in the chat real quick and read a couple of these off. Schlitz Malt Liquor, a fucking man cave. That shit gets under my skin. Now they have taken over the backyard sheds. A fucking she shed. I remember that stuff coming up a couple years ago. I had a call to give a proposal to build a she shed. No fucking thanks. Gerard Markel, the Great Reset. They will own no one and we will be free. Yeah, we will be free. Come hell or high water. Awakened black heterosexual, Vincent MGTOW, and don't get married. There you go. Rest in peace, Vincent. Rest in peace to all of the men that have come before us and that have paid the price and are in their final resting place. Dane Borrow, Cuck, Jew Murphy. That's exactly correct, sir. Why, how did you know that? Sir Yeetus, let them talk long enough, they'll snitch on themselves. Yeet or be yeeted. Fuck them motherfuckers. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was just going to say that we see this so damn many times that it goes without saying, but we have our actual subscribers, we have their best interest in mind, and that is we want you to protect yourselves. This is why MGTOW is around. MGTOW is about self-preservation. It's about saving lives. That's what we're here to do. Is we're here to try to help everybody to understand the world around them, to where this way they don't fall victim to all of the games and the traps that the system of usury sets out for people. And that's our whole goal. Okay, we don't make a dime off of this shit. It's like, it'd be great if we did, but we're not getting paid. As a matter of fact, we're getting slammed. Yeah, we're getting slammed.
Not unless somebody chooses to donate. And there's a big fucking difference between choosing to drop some cheese on somebody as opposed to mandating it. And then the flip side of that are institutions that are federalized, like feminism. How many hundreds of millions of dollars is dropped in their lap to propagandize men, to propagandize women, to propagandize blacks? Give me a fucking break. It's nothing like that. We don't even show up on that map. And they still have the balls, the temerity to be concerned with us. Must be doing something.
All right. I've got a few black friends, and they tell me it's like they often get accused of being white supremacists. And it's like,
yeah,
how does that work? I mean,
it's internalized white racism or white misogyny. Any fucking thing that these people can say to duck, dodge, and dive on reality.
Well, yeah, that's just it. Is that you see they get called coconuts, they get called Oreos. It's like all white on the inside but black on the outside. And it's like
yeah, they call them Oreo. Like they'll do that with Koreans too, man. They'll call them fucking Twinkies, yellow on the outside and white on the inside. It's fucked up.
Yeah, look. Once upon a time, we had the ability to talk amongst each other and laugh and joke and not be offensive. Look, these people choose to be offended. Okay? Everything that you say is offensive. So it's like when you take away the people's ability to laugh, then you take away their ability to enjoy their lives. And it's like nobody wants to walk on eggshells everywhere that they go. Because, at some point or another, you're going to snap like a twig. And it's like, that's what they want. They want you to go all Elliot Rodgers and stuff like that, because this is the way that they're trying to push you.
That's so it's why I don't get down on that kid. I mean, it's a horrible fucking thing that he did, that he finally got pushed into that position through whatever means he got there. The fact of the matter is he was there.
Yeah, but you see, these are individuals, and they're trying to blame all of this on, whatever aspect of the
I agree. I agree 100%. Now, look, guys, I don't do this often, but every once in a while, I'll do it, and I'm going to do it again today. And I'm going to cut this out and make it a segment, and I just want to see. Now, post it in the comments, your general location, state, country, province. Don't give out any addresses. I want to see where MGTOW's at today listening. Go.
Well, if I step out of StreamYards, I might not be able to get back in. So I'm just going to say,
you're good. You ain't got to do nothing, man. You're good. You're good. Ooh, baby, look at it go.
Damn, that's flying.
Look at it go. Oh man. You see what I'm saying, fellas? You see what I'm saying? There's no stopping it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it can be one fucking guy in
Kenya.
one city that's yeah, right, Kenya, Germany, Ohio, England, France, Tennessee, Wisconsin. Well, that might as well be South Africa, but Botswana. Fucking Botswana. Ontario, Texas. It'll be one guy in each one of these positions. And they're going to know people, and those people are going to know people. You know?
Now, this is how come I was saying, look, we had to re-estimate our numbers because like I said, 3 years ago, it was 15 to 20 million worldwide. Now, like I said, these are conservative estimates so that it's 75 to 85 million worldwide. And that's probably on the extremely low end of it.
I would agree. I think that a lot of these men out here that are doing the exact same thing that we're doing don't even know what MGTOW is.
Well, a lot of them are
know.
living their philosophy. They have no idea what the acronym is.
That I'll agree with. I've seen a lot of folks out there that think MGTOW is just that it's not, they don't know it's an acronym. You know, is that they're kind of grifting a little bit and then trying to relate to something a little bit larger than themselves. And I get that. I understand that. But you have to understand what the philosophy is. Yes, there's British in here. There's quite a few British in here.
You'd be amazed at the number of MGTOWs that are in Brazil. It was shocking to me.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I know that there's a lot of MGTOW men in Brazil. There are a fucking ton, ironically enough, in Ukraine and Russia.
As a matter of fact, we had, let me say, you had Coach Red Pill, you had Portuguese, you had, who else? Doggone, we had 3 of them that were in the Ukraine.
I know Russian MGTOW and Russian Red Pill. Who else? I can't remember who else. Man, there's, like I said, there's so many folks, and it's just really, really difficult to keep up with all of the channels. So I just try to catch them as I can. Oslo MGTOW. I remember Oslo MGTOW, fucking, well, CS MGTOW, but he hadn't been around for a while. Canadian MGTOW. Black Pigeon Speaks. Yeah, I know who Black Pigeon Speaks is. He's got a secondary channel called Felix Rex. If they haven't taken it down yet, because they were fucking with him for a while. Igor MGTOW in Romania.
Oh, getting back to that. You see, that was another thing where she was talking about they had confessions of a 12-year-old who said that he joined MGTOW, and I believe that she said that it was Igor MGTOW, and it's like, nah, I don't think that Igor would do something like that. I mean, I haven't spoken to him literally in years, but I mean, he was a good kid, and that's just it, is that he was a kid. We tried not to associate with them because they are children. And you see, that's where we do not advocate for reaching out to these children, because we can get easily labeled as being a groomer. So therefore, we get these emails from them and we understand that they're going through like a world of problems, but we can't contact them directly. Now, we can say something in a video to them and we can address them through a video, but we can't outright speak to them personally, because then that would be something that the government would actually go after us about. And you see, we have gotten so many of these horror stories that it's just unbelievable. And it's like, you know, and then you got these cases where these boys are like being forced to apologize for acts that they've never done in like Australia. You got boys that are being forced to wear dresses in England.
I saw it. Being forced to march in fucking gay pride classroom marches and all that fucking disgusting shit. And I don't care what anybody thinks about that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's filthy. It's fucking heinous. And as far as I'm concerned, it is actual grooming. It's actual grooming. Now, Igor MGTOW, what she picked out there, actually, it was just Igor and something in games is what he said that he was after the fact. He was talking with Portuguese MGTOW, and Portuguese got wrapped on the fucking knuckles for that. So, yeah, that was not a good idea. That was not a good idea. We don't talk with kids. And if somebody jumps outside of that, they're immediately in violation. We don't talk with kids. Now, I answer emails from time to time. We'll do videos that address the youth if they're pursuant to TGTOW. But we don't fuck around with somebody else's kids. And I realize that there's a big population of people that are saying, well, they're indoctrinating girls and boys at 5. I says, well, I'm not them. And if somebody was talking to my kid like that, I'd be fucking furious. I'd punch him in the goddamn balls.
Well, the actual groomers, in my particular opinion, are the ones that are out there teaching your children about, rear end sex. And it's like, that's good. And you see, this is done through, kindergarten story time hour where, you got this clown that's, these are not normal people, and these are the ones that you want to try to indoctrinate children who really shouldn't even be addressing this particular subject, at least until they're in the double digits, at least in 10 or 11 years old. What is wrong with you people?
They don't think anything's wrong with them. See, and that's the problem, and that's where we're headed as far as the ultimate conflict and the ultimate showdown. These people, maybe through no fault of their own, maybe with complete endorsement on their behalf, have been taken over. They've been taken over by deviant biology, by the deviant people that raised them. They're overcome by sexual proclivities, and they're the ones that we're going to end up having to go heads up with. All of them. Because they're the ones that are killing the culture. Well, they're being used to kill the culture, but, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, nothing against it, but you see, these are the kind of folks that are actually disgusting to me because, look, we want to have as normal and decent a life as possible, and these folks are actively working against everything that we want to, value as far as the beliefs that we need to keep intact. Now, you see, going back to, your statements of you have to ground yourself in morals, ethics, values, and principles. And you see, their morals, ethics, values, and principles are not the same as ours. Okay. They simply don't have the same types of, morals, values, ethics, and principles that we do. And it's like these are some psychopaths, and we're dealing with a large amount of psychopathy.
I agree. This is an interesting comment. Char Asnable, straight women are doing 100 times more to harm the culture than all non-hetero, you mean normal people combined. Non-hetero. I got you on that. Okay. I stand corrected. Yeah, man, that's there's a case to be made for that when you consider how they vote overwhelmingly to the left. Yes.
Or
I don't disagree with that.
When you talk about teachers of a certain gender that they can do some actual situations where they are molesting children and yet they receive no jail time.
Like that girl I just posted up, right?
That's just it.
Yeah. Just posted 21 years old, teacher's assistant groomed a 15-year-old boy, fucked him, no jail for raping a kid. But then again, they'll turn right around and tell you with a straight face, women can't rape men. If he's got a hard dick, it means he wants it. That's the sickness that you're dealing with in this culture. That kind of shit right there.
Well, that's just it, is that you see with all these folks that are doing this leftist communist propaganda, look, we're going down the tubes and we're going down pretty fast. And, the only reason that we haven't gone all the way, we haven't plunged all the way down yet is because we still have that Second Amendment in place. And, we're slowly losing ground on the First Amendment because, of this whole Smith-Mudd Act. And, it's like, damn it, Barry, you really screwed the pooch on that deal because, we really enjoyed having our freedom of speech. But you see, that's the problem, is that you see, when they censor us, eventually they'll get censored themselves and they'll be asking, well, why am I not allowed to speak? Well, you see, you brought this upon yourself. So we're not going to fight your fight for you because you lost your freedom of speech. How does it feel? Because we lost ours a long time ago.
I think that there was method to the madness when these folks intentionally allowed the American population to be propagandized. I think that it will get so bad that people will start begging for restrictions on that. And that's how they're going to go after 1A. They will tell you straight, well, we have to make an amendment. We're going to have to amend 1A. We're going to have to recognize hate speech. And that's what they're going to do, is to you got to make the population crazy. You have to make the population beg you to make the problem that you created go away. So I think, honestly, that was a long-term thought process by revoking the Propaganda Act.
Well,
so, yeah.
Look, it may not be hate speech, but it may be speech that you hate. Okay. And that's the whole thing, is that freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences.
Yeah, I agree with you. Of course it doesn't.
Well, these folks, they want to try to control every little aspect of your life. And it's like, look, that's how come we're saying we want to be self-autonomous. Okay. We want to be able to, have our own best interest in mind and not be handheld by the government to, force us to comply to a system that's ultimately trying to screw us over.
I agree with you 100%, man. 1 hour and 58 minutes, 504 sets of eyeballs watching this old motherfucker Spurg with his best, well, maybe not best, but damn close Master Wrench. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you for showing up. SCE, I think you're wonderful, man. If you want to close this one out with a couple of comments or something else that you had on the agenda, I think we'll start moving in that direction.
Nah, Hammer, we've spoken, you and I have spoken many times in the past, and so we know each other pretty well as far as that goes. Now, the thing of it is that a lot of these folks out here, they don't know me, but I mean, it's like there are times when I can be caught on like one of Black Wolf streams, and it's like we try to do this whenever we can on the weekends. And like, hey, there's a lot of competition on Saturdays and Sundays to try to get a stream in. So
yeah,
it
man.
is what it is.
It is, yeah, like you said, it is what it is. I mean, every once in a while, I'll kind of get it going, but I'd like to offer the wrenches and the content creators in the chat right now an opportunity to post links to your channel. If you can be found anywhere, if you have a Teespring, anything of that nature, and you want to post it, go on ahead and do it. And then we'll go ahead and kill this one off here in just a few minutes. So comments, questions, and concerns, Master Wrench.
No, Hammer, I think we're good, man. Look, I got all the things off my chest that I wanted to say as far as like these, projections and propaganda. Is like, we had to address this because it's gotten out of hand. And it's like these folks, they really need to be put in their place as far as understanding that, there are aspects of this philosophy which they may not agree with, but that does not give them any outright authority to try to attach a label to us as being terroristic or extremist, because that is a misrepresentation of everything that we believe in.
Uh-oh. We are Dog K in the house, man. Dog K in the house. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes, sir. Man, I hear you straight. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Please finish up.
Oh, no, it's just, these are folks that are trying to do everything that they can to limit our ability to speak freely. They're trying to use all this projection to say that we are everything that we aren't,
Of
because
course.
everything that they do is what they tried to project onto somebody else.
Of course. And it always turns out that way, doesn't it? It always turns out that way. So, to the creator of the fake news article that manipulated Global News's property and attempted to bring harm to some folks here, myself, number one, in 21 Studios, number two, whether that's reputational harm or actual physical harm, you failed. You failed. The next one will fail. The next one after that will fail. And everyone after that will fail. Plain and simple. That's just the way that it's going to be. You have not a leg to stand on when it comes to trying to dirt this community up. We're telling you about yourselves, and you don't particularly like it. And I think that that's going to do it for today.
Well, Hammerhand, thank you for allowing me the platform to speak my thoughts on this, because things have gotten out of hand, and I appreciate you letting me have the ability to get these thoughts off of my chest, because these folks need to understand that they overstepped their boundaries on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And the only way that that's going to change is if platforms like YouTube step up and do something about people that are really abusing and using and doing stupid shit. That's just dumb shit, and nobody needs that in their life. Can you just imagine hating and despising a message so much that you feel it's okay to do something like that? That is an unbalanced person. That is somebody that's, really got some problems. I hope that they find help. I want them to find help. I hope if they are listening to this right now, that is the goal, is to get you some help. Whether you're a man, a woman, it doesn't make a difference to me, man. I want you to be safe and sane. And this is clearly not safe and sane. And I'm sorry for what's going to happen to your channel, but it's going to happen. YouTube has the information now. Global News has the information now. So, good luck in the future, and try not to do things like that to people, because it's going to come back and get you. You're going to run into people that will fight you tooth and nail. And I'm one of them.
Hammerhand, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, SE. Thank you very much, brother. I'll check you on the next one.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
have a good one.
Peace out, man. And it's just you and you and you and you and you and me, one Mogen. Davina Duckworth, the rats, threatened to jump ship at Twitter. Substack didn't want them. Yeah, Substack said, go fuck yourselves, because you don't want all of the filthy fucking communists and Marxists that are going to be jumping ship because of Musk's purchase over there. Make no mistake about it. A $3 billion stake is not chump change, not even to Elon Musk. Nobody wants to take that kind of a hit. Nobody is going to want to see that just go up in smoke and be like, oh, well, fuck it. It was just $3 billion. I know that the guy is stupidly rich and has more resources than any human being should have, but he got out there and he broke his ass for it, and he's dedicated his life to it. So if you can make that work, go ahead and go get you some. Hopefully they don't all end up back on Tumblr. Not that Tumblr's a live site anymore. You just have to come to grips with the fact that there are sickos in society. There are people that are completely butt fucked. They simply can't exist out here with other people. That's why you don't do away with the fucking short bus. Everybody needs the short bus once in a while. Some of us never need it. I was watching a video compilation the other day on the difficulty of playing the brand new Elden Ring. And I shit you not, some motherfucker held up a nub in one hand talking about, I ain't got difficult because I ain't got no fucking hand. Look, man, if you can't play the fucking game, I'm sorry, that's your lot in life. If you can't run track because your legs ain't there, that's your lot in life. You know what I'm saying? You want to throw javelins, but you ain't got no arms? That's your lot in life. You know what I'm saying? You want a good man, but you keep getting fucked by Chad and Tyrone? Sorry about your luck, bitch. That's your lot in life. That's just what it's going to be. Lion of MGTOW, I prefer God of War. That's a good one. That's a good one. Soft Sands, I remember when it was only 1%. But there's actually bullshit out here where these folks are scrapping with the developers of Elden Ring about accessibility because the fucking game has difficulty to it. Well, I wanted to play too. Get better. Okay, I can't go drive an Indy car because my fucking ass is big. You know what I mean? So it's my lot in life not to be able to drive an Indy car, no matter how much I might love them. So I involve myself any way that I can. Draw, paint, take pictures, go to races, and I still get quite a bit out of it. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I even help put some of the cars together. That's super fun. It just is what it is. We have to stop coddling these fucking infirmed weaklings. There's nothing wrong with showing kindness to the weak and the less fortunate until that kindness starts to break your back. Then that's a problem. Folks, then it's a problem. You wonderful folks, have yourselves an amazing day. Try to have a great rest of your Friday. Try to understand that the world does not exist in a bubble, because it really doesn't. Unfortunately, it's polarized as a motherfucker right now, and likely will be for some time. That doesn't prohibit you from getting out there any day that you choose to and indulging in anything that you want to, as long as it's legal and she's not screaming. I'll catch you on the next one.